Peace and wisdom, wise Silas speaking. Giving you all a chance to get in here. Pardon my good looks. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing, babies. Hey, fellas, I'm just playing with y'all girls, you know. I don't get too envious, you hear? Big ooh seer. Now, I want to do this deep video for you guys today. Hopefully, everyone's well. I'm exquisite. If you knew here, I like to bother the haters. They are so envious in the daytime. I don't know why is that a thing, envy, but I like to rub, you know, good positive vibes onto them. You know, say nice things about myself. Nobody else, just me. And so, this is how you deal with haters. So you say, man, I'm feeling exquisite today. How about yourself? Of course, their face is going to be looking like they have to take a doo-doo. There's the glory. Now, first one in, can I get a sound check, please? I'd appreciate that. I want to do this deep video. Debunking Terrence Howard's theory, you know, the 0 times 1 thing. I want to go a little more in depth. I have nothing against Terrence Howard. I'm not sure why you guys kind of take that stance. I don't know Terrence Howard. This is just a discussion on math. And how Terrence Howard is not a mathematician. Meaning he's not that well versed on math. And neither are the rest of y'all that thought that what he said made sense. Outside of that, I have no problem with Terrence Howard. If he wants to begin his path of wisdom, my email address is upscaleknowledge@gmail.com. Now, math goes all the way back to Maat. Maat being the personification of math. Now, I know most of you guys didn't know that. And so, like I said, if anyone wants to start, you know, their path of wisdom, which is a path of truth, in learning things the right way, email upscaleknowledge@gmail.com. Outside of that, like I said, Maat is the personification of math. And so if you think I'm inaccurate in anything that I teach, you better be prepared to go all the way back to the beginnings of the thing and how it was constructed and the reason why. Just a thought. Now, like I said, Maat is the personification of math. If you look up the definition of Maat, the description is describing math. Like you guys always say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Maat is, you know, truth, justice, law, order, balance, everything that math is. Math not being a physical thing, but do you get my point? Now, I'm not speaking of the curriculum, but I'm speaking of like water falling out the sky. You know, hydrogen airs being merged with oxygen airs, the precise amount, and then water falling from that chemistry or that addition And the addition and the numbers we have are just symbols or representations of these unseen matters. This hidden hand doing what we would call math. And so Maat is the personification of math. It starts there. Now, I'm going to get to Maat, but let's start with the Terrence Howard thing, because a lot of you guys seem to have a desire for the Terrence Howard theory to be accurate. I'm not sure if you've been teaching it on your spare time, but it's wrong. Terrence Howard's theory is 0 times 1 should equal 1, and 1 times 1 should equal 2. And the way we've been taught math is inaccurate. Now, where Terrence Howard went wrong is he convinced himself he know how the curriculum was built. He forgot the question, why is 0 times 1 equals 0? He came to the conclusion, I want multiplication in math to be the same thing. In that, 0 times 1 makes no sense. According to his understanding of math, meaning he's using the curriculum to make a point, not knowing the point of the curriculum. And a lot of you guys are like that. You want Terrence Howard's theory to be accurate, but if I ask you why, you didn't make it up. So what does it matter to you if it's wrong? You know what you guys are going to say? Ego. He called me stupid. I didn't. I asked you a question. That part. Y'all should be thanking me, because y'all could be gone on this make-believe path that y'all are already on. But you could be further along in it. Meaning if you're taking offense, you shouldn't be. You should be saying thank you and paying your tithes. Otherwise, you can just stay on the wrong accord. Now, this Terrence Howard theory is a good thing, meaning it served a good purpose. It shows any of you who want to see the truth of things, how people idolize stars or whoever they think is famous. In that a star could tell one of y'all anything and y'all would go with it. That part. 0 times 1 equals 0. Y'all all learned that in school. He said 0 times 1 should equal 1, and you all, yeah, that's deep. It makes sense. Why? How can somebody convince you that the wrong answer is the right answer when you already know the answer? You may not know why 0 times 1 equals 0. He doesn't either. That's why he has the theory. But how do you convince yourself that his theory is right? Because he's a star. If a regular fool from special ed told y'all that, y'all would have said that's dumb. Why is 0 times 1 equals 1? That part. In that a star can tell y'all anything. It can be to y'all own detriment, and y'all will go with it. Otherwise, you're going to go to school and pass the test off 0 times 1 equals 1, because the theory holds no merit anywhere. Try to grasp. Peace and wisdom, Gregory Bullocks. This is not an insult to Terrence Howard. I have no problem with Terrence Howard. He can make a mistake. I'm just explaining to those who idolize this. Idolizing is going to cause you problems in life in regards to your understanding things, because a star can tell you anything and This Terrence Howard thing makes it crystal clear. Y'all are willing to accept anything that a star says, even if you already know it's wrong. Now let's get to the math and the understandings of things. Like I said, when you're dealing with addition, multiplication, algebra, these are all different curriculums. Addition and multiplication is not the same thing. But many of you guys view it as the same, but it's not the same. Addition is merging things together to create one whole. In this case, the whole is numbers. So 1 plus 1 equals 2, meaning the two ones are merged into one whole number. You follow? 5 plus 1 equals 6. The 5 and the 6 being merged together into one new whole thing. A 6. That's what addition is. That's what its language is, or what its curriculum is based on. Adding things together to make a whole. Multiplication is not that. Multiplication has to do with how many times a thing. It doesn't have to do with merging things together. It has to do with how many times a thing. In that, 0 times 1 will equal 0, because 0 times is 0. It's not about the two numbers. It's about how many times of an occurrence. Y'all are lost on the number. That's why I said 1 times 1 is the equivalent of saying 1 time. It's about how many times. And this is the language in the curriculum of multiplication. In that, 5 times 5 equals 25, because the equation is saying 5 times. Now, if you understand that, then you understand each curriculum is dependent on the other. According to Terrence Howard, we don't need multiplication because it's wrong. 0 times 1 should equal 1, and 1 times 1 should equal 2. And that's basically math. In that, we don't need multiplication, according to Terrence Howard. But multiplication is a different curriculum. We do need it because it is not addition. But according to him, multiplication wouldn't exist anymore, and we just have addition. And if multiplication don't exist, then you have to take away algebra, because each curriculum is dependent on the other for the answer. You need an example? Ten times 10 is to say 10 times. If you take 10 and then 10 times, you get 100. Of course, according to Terrence Howard, 10 times 10 should equal 20. That's where you go wrong. 10 times 10 equals 100. 10 times 10 being the question. 10 times equals, and you would need addition to get the answer. Meaning when you're dealing with multiplication, the answer is dependent on addition. Again, 10 times 10, which is the equivalent of saying 10 times. The answer is 100, but you would need to know addition to get to the 100. Meaning you would have to know how to add 1 plus 1 equals 2. You would have to know how to add all these separate 10s together. Meaning 10 plus 10 plus 10, 10 times to get to 100. You need addition to solve the multiplication. Y'all are lost in memory. Y'all know 10 times 10 equals 100 because of memory. 4 times 4 equals 16 because of memory. You don't know why. I'm explaining the why. 4 times 4 is to say 4 times. To get the answer, which is 16, you would need to know how to add. Multiplication is dependent on addition. If you remove addition, what's 4 times 4? How'd you get to 16? You don't know how to add 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 4 times, or 4 times 4. You need addition to get to the answer of multiplication. Multiplication is the question, and you need addition to get to the answer. It's the same with algebra. If you remove multiplication, well, algebra is the question, and you need to know how to multiply to get the answer. If you're confused, you have squared root. This is algebra. If I say 4 squared, this is 4 with the little 2 next to it. 4 squared. That is to say 4 times itself. You follow? But I need to know how to multiply to get the answer. Each curriculum in math is dependent on the lesser curriculum to get the answer. Terrence Howard does not understand the fundamentals of the math. He's lost in the numbers like most of y'all. Y'all hear the numbers. To y'all, the numbers are real. So he says 0 times 1 equals 0. Where did the 1 go? The 1 is not a real physical object. It's a representation of something that y'all don't know. In that, when he says, where did the 1 go? What do you mean, where did the 1 go? There is no 1. Show me the number 1. I don't mean written somewhere by man, but you show me the number 1 in life. I know you don't think math is based on man's writing. Math come before that. So show me a 1 in life. That part. If you say you 1, I'm a person. We talking the numbers. Show me the number 1. There is no number 1. That is curriculum explaining sound manifesting out, as I said. And so when Terrence Howard says, what happened to the 1, do you grasp? Y'all are lost on numbers. Not the understanding of these numbers, but the numbers themselves. And that a 0 is something or nothing. A 1 is something, a 2 is something. Say 0 times 1 should equal 1. Otherwise, where'd the 1 go? There is no 1. That's just number curriculum or math. Curriculum. Some of y'all say, no, Silas, you lost on the systematics or the curriculum. Y'all are lost on the curriculum. Terrence Howard's trying to disprove multiplication by using addition, which is curriculum. That's when you know you lost. Y'all trying to make a point to me that his multiplication theory is accurate. And other people are lost too much into society to grasp, even though y'all are using the curriculum from society to make the point. Y'all all understand addition. 1 plus 1 equals 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Y'all think multiplication is the same as addition in perspective. And so he's basing his theory on that mishap. He says 0 times 1 should equal 1. And he's only saying that because he's basing it on his understanding of addition. Not life, addition, which is a curriculum. Now, multiplication ain't addition. Multiplication got to do with how many times, and addition got to do with adding things together. And all these different curriculums have a language or a purpose that they are serving, each one being dependent on the other. All you need is addition, but the more complex maths are dependent on the less complex ones that come before them. In that, multiplication is dependent on addition, meaning you have to know how to add to get the answer of the multiplication equation. 10 times 10 equals 100, but you can only get that answer if you know how to add. 10 plus 10 plus 10, 10 times. If you don't know how to add, you can't get the multiplication answer. You can only say the question, which is 10 times 10, or 10 times equals what? That part. Y'all know the answer from memory, not from understanding the curriculum in whole. Like I said, this goes back to ancient Egypt and the understandings of Maat. Are you guys following? Or is this too deep and simple for most of y'all? Because I like to keep things simple. Gregory Bullock said just like division and subtraction. Wise wisdom. Peace and wisdom. Like I said, y'all are lost on a lot of theories and things that make no sense, and it's because y'all idolize in that. A famous person or anybody you like could tell you 0 times 1 should equal 1. And you already know because you went to school that 0 times 0 equals 0. You don't know why? And they obviously don't know why either, because they made up a whole theory of why it shouldn't. And somehow you said, yeah, that theory is deep. How? How can someone convince you 0 times 1 should equal 1 for no reason? You could say whatever you want. He gave us a reason. I heard no reason. I heard him switch the topic and start talking about energy never dying. That's what I heard. Real confused talking. Like someone blurting out their thoughts and trying to figure things out. But I didn't hear anything deep and to the point. I didn't hear him explain how multiplication is wrong. I heard him say that the multiplication is wrong because it don't make sense according to addition. Multiplication not being addition. Multiplication being how many times a thing. Addition being adding things together. These things have different expressions or languages. These curriculums being things used to explain occurrences in life. Life manifesting out, of course. And so, according to addition, I see where he thinks like 0 times 1 makes no sense. Where'd the 1 go? But according to multiplication, it don't make sense. 0 times 1 equals 0 because 0, 1 time, is 0. Reverse it. 1 times 0 equals 0 because 1 0 time is 0. If I ask you 0 times equals what? Nothing. Do you get it? If I say 1 time equals what? You'll say 1. If I say 2 times, which is to say 1 thing, that's to say 1 times 2. You are the 1, and the 2 is how many times? Meaning 1 times 2 is to say 1 2 times. But we're going to use you as the 1. And so u times 2 or u 2 times equals what? 2 u's. If I say 3 of u's times 3 of u's, which is to say u, which is a 3 thing, 3 times, that would equal 9 of you. You're a triplet. I say, hey, triplet, that's a 3 thing. What's the number if I make you 3 times? That's 3 plus 3 plus 3. 3 threes added together is 9. That's why 3 times 3 is 9. Because it's saying 3 times. Terrence Howard does not understand the language of math. The purpose of multiplication. He just understands addition. In that he says the multiplication doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense according to addition. But addition is not multiplication. It's Some of y'all have a problem accepting the truth of things, and it's because you've overlooked truth. This is when you started your path of not knowing and lie. And so I'm sure most of y'all grasp what I said if you listen straight through. But you get it? We're going to start talking about fairy godmother dust and things that have nothing to do with deep wisdom. You're going to be like, he called me stupid out of nowhere. You feel stupid, that's on you. Theories ain't the truth, they're guesses. You get lost on a theory or a guess. Well, what do you think's going to happen at some point? It's either going to be proven right or wrong. Usually wrong, because the guess ain't how you get to right. Just getting to the right answer is how you do that. And so, hopefully some of you guys grasp. If any of y'all don't, you can type your statement now before I move on to explaining Maat. Like I said, I don't have no problem with Terrence Howard. This has nothing to do with Terrence Howard. This just has to do with correction. Meaning y'all are easily... I don't see how anything y'all be talking about makes sense to y'all and how y'all don't see in reality. But then I do get there's a duality in life. And a lot of y'all are on y'all path of lie and not knowing. And you chose that path, you know. The moment you decided to scramble up your mind and speak over the truth or a point being made. And you decided in that moment, I don't care about the truth. Maybe you ain't view it that way. Maybe you looked at the person that was saying it and said, I don't like them. Whatever happened. You chose, meaning the self chose in that moment. Fuck the truth. So you can't fuck the truth and then think you're gonna get it. In that, when I'm speaking truth, it feel like nails to certain people. They be talking outside the subject and stuff. Get y'all thing together. Now, why is it equivalent to time? Oh, you said there's no time. Time is against the God mind. Time is something that's used to describe or used as a representation of a real thing, the same way math is. Time and math both being matters of numbers. Numbers being things that's used as symbols to represent the unseen. Air is unseen. So look at math or the numbers in math. We could just say numbers. Numbers are symbols or math in its curriculums. Even when you're dealing with science, chemistry, and the math that it's using, like H2O and all of that. The symbols, these are the numbers or whatever, are used to represent the unseen aspect of life. This unseen aspect of life is air. We should all be able to agree that air is unseen. Wind, air, unseen. Even if you want to include gases, airs, unseen things. And these airs are a result of sound, meaning you only get moving air, which is wind, from sound. Now, H2O, this is hydrogen airs merged with oxygen airs, or cool airs merged with warm airs. And this is how you get liquid water. But in perspective, that is math, addition. It's also chemistry in regards to science. The numbers being descriptions of these things are symbolic for these unseen matters. How air or sound is manifesting physically, starting unseen. So sound rises in its hertz. Sound is like moving airs. If you turn the sound up or the hertz of the sound up, it will transcend into light. If you're lost, you get thunder. Boom! Then lightning. That lightning is the sound so high in hertz that it just transcends out into something else. Still being the same thing, truly. So sound will raise in hertz and transcend into light. That light into liquid. Thunder, lightning, rain. That liquid into matter. And this is how sound manifests out physically. Going from unseen to light to liquid to clay. Before liquid, after liquid is mud, of course. You could say seminal fluid, menses fluid. After that, clay, then stone, but this is all sound manifesting out. You're the clay, but you still emit a sound. This is your voice. It's a unique voice coming from its vibration, which is an unseen airs, or your soul. And so do you get it? Yeah, like changing densities, transcending into something different. And this is what math is tracking. Sound or wind, air, manifesting out physically. And this is being done through addition, so to say, meaning the different states of airs becoming merged. If you go to the periodic table, you have all those letters which represent atoms. Atoms are within the air. So what it is saying is, let's say hydrogen atom on a periodic table is saying hydrogen airs are gas. And within it, you have the hydrogen atoms. Atoms are not separate from the airspace that it makes, so to say. A bunch of hydrogen atoms make hydrogen gas or hydrogen airs. You follow? So it's the same with oxygen gas or oxygen airs. A bunch of oxygen atoms is what makes oxygen gas or air. And you have all the different states of airs on the periodic table put into their smallest measurement. So instead of saying hydrogen airs, they just say hydrogen atom, which is a measurement of hydrogen air, meaning a bunch of hydrogen atoms is what make hydrogen airs. In that, H for hydrogen atom, O for oxygen atom, but we're speaking airs. Gas, airs, same difference. And so, as you merge those different airs together, you get different liquids. H2O, which is hydrogen and oxygen airs or gas merge, you get water. H2O2, which is the same thing, hydrogen and oxygen airs mixed together, but equal amounts. H2O is to say, 1 part hydrogen and a half part oxygen, or to say, double the amount of hydrogen to oxygen. H2O2 is to say equal amounts of both airs or gases merged. That'll get you peroxide. Peroxide is like water, but it's more powerful. H2O3, this is trioxide. Do you follow? Now you're getting into like powders, meaning liquid becoming matter. And so, let me know if y'all following. The Mike Ebo 1322 said, damn, you just made so many things make sense. Yeah, I'm the wisest man alive. I'm not sure why people are disturbed by that. Strange to me, but you want to learn things the accurate way. Become a channel member, pay your tithes, join one of the classes online. I'm not sure, but they're giving y'all live on purpose at this point, because I don't understand why no one explained to Terrence Howard that was incorrect. I'm sure Terrence Howard has to know somebody that's really wise or smart. In that, you have to question what mathematician or wise people from whatever society he was speaking of, why none of them had a mind to say, hold on, that makes no sense. Math has to do with how many times a thing, not adding things together. but how many times the thing. Keeping it separate, but just how many times. It's not about the thing, it's about the occurrence of the thing. Addition is about the thing being merged with another thing to create a new thing. Kind of like how the hidden hand, or what I call God, does it in life. It brings oxygen and hydrogen together, precise portion, and then you get liquid rain. And that the math serve a purpose in life. And that man say, it's 2 plus 1. And equals 3, a new thing. And 2 hydrogen airs. Or double the amount of hydrogen mixed with oxygen. And get you a new thing. Water. Water being both things merged as one now. This is addition. Multiplication ain't that. Multiplication would be like how many times did this occur? You get it? Hydrogen and oxygen atoms merged together once. Let's say it happened 50 times. So that'd be 1 times 50, meaning that one occurrence happening 50 times. 1 times 50 is to say 150 times, which would be 50. And so hopefully you guys grasp. And like I said, this is no disrespect to Terrence Howard. I'm not trying to hurt his feelings. Y'all have followers. Terrence Howard's pretending like he's a wise man, so he's going to attract the fake. Meaning, he's pretending he's wise, so he's going to attract people who's pretending they're on a path of wisdom. They're just idolizers of stars and whatever else they can be, but do you get my point? Because he's pretending in the moment, that's what he's going to attract. And so all of y'all that's pretend followers of wisdom, you get my point? You taking offense when I'm explaining a thing for his sake and your own. So you don't got to look dumb talking about, I don't see how 0 times 1 equals 0. I do. Unless you about to tell me 1 0 time is 1. What are you going to say? No, the 1, how did it disappear? 1 ain't a real thing. It's an expression of something. You don't know what the 1 times 0 is speaking about? You know what the 1 is a representation of? Do you know what the 0 is a representation of? Or do you think that number 1 and that number 0 is a real thing? And the 1 disappeared. And that's what you call lost in the curriculum. And so like I said, this is all about sound and sound manifesting out. Of course, all sound is coming off its vibration. This is a fixed pattern. And so you get my point? This is where geometry starts and perspective. And this is where you get numbers and things from. Equations. And this pattern, this vibrational pattern, you can say it's a soul. A soul being a sound. Or a soul being something that's going to transcend into a sound. If you're lost, your sound or your words come off your soul. Your soul is your mind. Your mind thinks whatever it does, and then you speak it from your mind out your mouth. That sound is basically a representation of the vibration it's coming from, which is your mind or your soul. And so do you get it? You have to understand life before you trying to start understanding curriculums. Like I said, math go all the way back to Maat. The Mike's 1322 said Maat represents the balances of all these things, seen and unseen, with that scale I'm gathering. Maat is math. Math being the order of the happenings. Hydrogen and oxygen getting merged together and you getting water is math. There's an order to that happening. That's called Maat. The order. How the sound manifests out, going from sound to light, to liquid, to matter, so on and so forth, staying within its order. If I say what created the order for hydrogen and oxygen to merge to get water, I'll say I don't know. Maat, meaning math. Maat is the personification of math. Maat is not a person. Maat is to say math in the past. Math being personified, not the curriculum, the happenings. Do you get it? Y'all are lost in the curriculum, so you say, okay, Maat is math. Oh, Maat is 1 plus 1. No, Maat is rain falling out the sky, nigga. Snow. The happenings. The math that's happening that you don't see how it's happening. A diamond being formed. This is a matter of chemistry in precise amounts of different things being merged. Math. And so do you get it? Maat. The personification of math, but we're not speaking the curriculum. We're speaking the happenings in life. That being air, which is an unseen thing. Air coming from sound, manifesting out. If you're lost, you are manifested sound. You can run your mouth and sound comes out. And the sound is coming from your mind being an unseen thing. Your soul, your vibration. Is it clear? Y'all grasping, or I'm going too deep? Even with atoms, y'all are lost in atoms, words. And atoms are words that represent air. And you have many different airs, or you can call them gases. And you have many different unseen aspects of life. Y'all lost in the curriculum. You know what an atom is from curriculum. When I say, well, why you ain't just say the atom was the airs that it make? Most of y'all say, well, in school they didn't teach us like hydrogen atom is basically to say hydrogen gas or hydrogen airs. It's supposed to be common sense. Atoms are in their air space. They become merged and you get liquids. You got a bunch of different liquids, even laughing gas liquid. It's the merging of different gases or airs. It's called sorcery in the past. Why? Because you can mess somebody up or heal them. Different liquids do different things. If I give you Clorox, which is a liquid, a mixture of different things, airs, you die. If I give you water, maybe not. Sorcery. But this math or this math happening is Maat. In the past, Maat was the personification of math, not the curriculum, the happenings. The curriculum is just symbols of the happenings. Like I said, addition have to do with merging things together. Multiplication got to do with how many times a thing. You need addition to answer the question that multiplication is. You need multiplication to answer the question that algebra is. That square root thing. 10 times 10 equals 20 because you know how to add. If I say, well, what's 10 times 10? You say 20. No, this is multiplication. It's 100. You say, how'd you get there? You have to know how to add. 10 times 10 is saying 10 times. In that, you have to be able to add 10 plus 10 plus 10 times to get to 100. Other than that, you'll never know why 10 times 10 equals 100. This is the problem Terrence Howard is having. He doesn't understand how 1 times 1 equals 1 instead of 2. And it's because he doesn't understand the language. Do you follow? He doesn't understand 1 times 1 means 1 time, which is 1. That's why it equals 1. 0 times 1 equals 0 because 0 1 time is 0. 1 times 0 equals 0 because 1 0 times is 0. Try and grasp. Ron said this guy is smart. Salam, shalom. Hopefully y'all grasping. Because y'all get wrapped into, lie and make believe a lot. And so let this video show some of y'all, you on the path of lie. You get frustrated when this lie or mishap is corrected. Meaning if Terrence Howard is getting upset, let's say, or any of his followers who picked up on this theory he had, let it be the measure of how deep you lost into your path of lie. Because it should be clear to anybody listening. He doesn't understand the language of multiplication. That's why he doesn't understand why 0 times 1 equals 0. And he doesn't understand that because he's not a wise person. So he doesn't know to go to the beginnings of math. If I told most of y'all go to the beginnings of math, where math was constructed, most of y'all don't know, oh, Maat is math personified. So let me start there. And so if you look at the symbol that Maat is like a figure crouching. That crouching figure is a square root, meaning the symbol of Maat is a square root. The square root being personified, made to look like a person squatting like they're taking a shit. If you think of the square root symbol, when you put it as a person, it would be someone squatting taking a doo-doo. And so Maat is basically math personified. Math, or algebra being a part of math, this is what your square root symbol is. And other depictions of Maat are other math symbols. So you grasp, Maat is the personification of math. And like y'all say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And this is why Maat or Maat is the personification of truth, justice, balance, order, everything that math is. If you go to the law, you have a penal code system, which is a number system. And the law ain't got nothing to do with math. You broke this law, you're going to get 7 years for that, and you did that too, and you're going to get 7 for that. That's 14 years, sucker. That's how the law works. Math. 1 life sentence plus another one. Give a nigga 77 years. He's already 60. That's 130 years before he get out. He'll be dead. They don't care. Cold with their justice or their Maat. Their math. Say that nigga's gonna sit. We're gonna keep the body 30 years after he dies, and that's that. And he has 130. So let's go deep. Now, in regards to when I said sound raises in hertz and then becomes the light and then liquid. When liquid evaporates, you get a rainbow, which is colors or lights that the liquid kind of came from. Those colors or lights merge together to create that liquid. And so when you see a rainbow, you are seeing the colors that came together to create that substance. It's like I said, sound raises in hertz to light or color. Color, which is sound, transcended, raises in hertz to liquid. But when the liquid evaporates, you will see the colors that it started from. And when the colors, go away, you will see or feel the wind, which is the airs that came together or raised in hertz to become the color. are the lights. So it's a deep thing. He said I never had enough to multiply and divide it up. You don't have to be good at multiplication. It's simple. Multiplication is just saying how many times a thing. 2 times 2 is saying 2 times. That means you have 2, then another 2, and that's how you get 4. Say 4 times 2 equals 8. How? 4 2 times. 1 4 and another 4, that's 8. That's how you get the answer. Multiplication is based on how many times. 4 times 4 is the equivalent of saying 4 times, which equals 16. Now you know. Meaning a lot of y'all take offense to me helping y'all out. Y'all could be giving y'all damn kids this. Meaning I could teach y'all kids multiplication. And if you listen to me right now, I'm sure you have a brain to say, I know my damn James with his stupid ass could grasp what this man's saying. You don't think your stupid kid that's failing school, if I sat him down right now and said, listen, man, 2 times 2 just mean 2 times. And whatever number you see, it's just saying that number that many times. It could be 10 times 10, which is big. It's just saying 10 times. If you know how to go 10 plus 10 plus 10, 10 times, that number is the answer to that multiplication question. You don't have to be a genius to do multiplication. All you have to do is know how to add. So those of y'all that say, man, all I know is my addition. I ain't that good at multiplication. And you must not be that good at addition because you're using addition to solve the multiplication question. 10 times 10 or 10 times is a matter of you adding 10 plus 10. You get it? 10 here, 10 there, 10 there, 10 times. 10 powers of 10 equals 100. You follow? That's how. You have to know how to add. If I say 9 times 7, which is to say 7 times, that means you have a pile of 9, another pile of 9, 7 of them. And then you count that up, you get 63. That's how you get the answer. Adding. Now, if your kid is failing school, well, you're taking offense to deep wisdom because you love Terrence Howard so much. We ain't even sure if Terrence Howard is taking offense. That part. Y'all think this is a show. Now pay y'all damn tithes, take the wisdom and apply it to your life. You probably got a little kid failing math. You don't know shit about math, but now you do if you listening. You barely listening because you want Terrence Howard to be right. And so you get my point. And so all matters is like this. Meaning schoolwork is just curriculum. To understand before the curriculum is everything. That part. Understanding why you get the answer you do in multiplication is everything. I'm sure most teachers in school, if you ask them 10 times 10 equals 100, why? Why not 20? They ain't gonna be able to tell you because 10 times 10 means 10 times. And maybe after this video was seen enough, then you get my point? It'd be the new thing in school where they explain it, because I've seen this online, like Encyclopedia, Wikipedia. It'll change what it said according to what I said 7, 8 years ago. But it wasn't near 7 to 8 years ago. It said something else. That part. Meaning I'm changing the curriculum when I speak. If you've been following me since day one, and you get it, you was going to Wikipedia or Encyclopedia or wherever you was going to check, I bet you it's different now. That part. They actually be using sperm and semen in definitions now in regards to some of these ancient scholarships. But before I said the sperm was the spirit in that whole debacle, you get my point? That wasn't there. And so kind of grasp. Make sure y'all pay y'all dues. Wise Wizard said, does the swastika symbol have any ancient knowledge? Yeah. North, south, east, west. Direction. But like I said, this all goes back to these symbols represent real things in life. The real thing in life happen being sound. Meaning everything you see is sound manifested out, or the unseen manifested physically. And so the symbols represent these things. When you're dealing with the soul or the mind, 4 directions, north, south, east, west. And so that's what the cross symbol represents. Any kind of way it's designed, even if it's designed like a swastika. That symbol represents the unseen soul, and how the up part of the cross would be consciousness, the down part of the cross would be unconsciousness, and do you get it? The in-between, your east and west. A dream time, nightmare, or a good one. And so look at it like that. The soul and its 4 expressions, or however you want to view it. It goes deeper than that, but I'm going to stay on the topic. Now, like I said, the symbol of Maat is really a square root. So Maat, or the depiction of Maat, is the personification of a square root. So that you grasp Maat is basically what we would say is math, meaning that word. The ancient Egyptian word Maat is the same as our word math. But we're not speaking the curriculum. We're speaking the happenings in life that I just explained. Now, if you get my book, Life Secrets Decoded, Maat has that symbol on her head. The one that's known as a feather. Look closely. The one to the left, I think it's y'all left. But the feather, not the heart. Of course, that's Anubis. Anubis is the personification of the abyss, or the dark void. This is the unconscious parts of the mind. That unconsciousness is associated with death. And so you get it? Anubis, or like y'all say, Anubis, but Anubis, Lord of the Abyss. Now, look at the little feather. That's not a feather. It's the right lung. See? The right lung in its cavity looks like that image. I'll show y'all another one. The right lung looks like what y'all call a feather in ancient Egypt. Both lungs look the same, but you know the heart is by the left lung, so it kind of squashes it up a little bit. But the lung is what's being depicted. And so that feather is called Shu, H-S-H-U. And Shu is the personification of that symbol. That symbol being the right lung. The right lung is associated with air. Like I said, this all has to do with the unseen realms of life, which is your airs. Airs coming from sound. In that, do you get it? Maat, which is the personification of math, has the feather or the right lung on the head. To say Maat is the order in balance in the manifesting sound or airs. Hydrogen, oxygen come together, you get liquid, you get it, so on and so forth. Maat, or math, the personification of it, not the curriculum, the happening. And so You want to learn ancient Egyptian and all these things, like I said, you may have to get one-on-one. They try to block off my videos and things like that. If you're a real follower of mine and you've been taking in this wisdom and applying it to yourself, can you please make sure you pay your tithes? There's other deep ancient Egyptian knowledge in here. Hinduism as well. In Hinduism, the Dashavatara is in a specific place in your body. That's the cerebellum. The cerebellum in its 10 lobes. Of course, the Dashavatara is the 10 avatars of Vishnu. And so it's the same in ancient Egypt. You have the Aten. In ancient Egypt, you have the Agduad. This is the 8 primordial deities. Then you have the Enid, which is the 9. And then you have the Aten, which is the 10. 10 things is one thing. And so those 10 things that's being spoken of is the 10 nodules inside of the cerebellum. Meaning all the deities, they manifest out with the sound being the mind that will be born out and be able to speak, the sound being like airs. Your mind is trapped in its body, and so the deities are part of the body, you get it, they're the natures, the netter of the body. And so all the deity are within your body, are they manifested out as certain body parts and organs. The same way you manifest it out as the sound, meaning you speak your mind. And so hopefully you guys grasp. Now, if you have any questions, let me know. I don't think I missed anything. It's a deep matter though. Like I said, Terrence Howard is not a mathematician or someone well versed in math. Maybe you went to school and you're like a scientist or you're really smart in math. Well, after you watch this, I'm sure you're going to have to measure how smart you think you are. Meaning a lot of y'all have me as some hood nigga with a tattoo on my eye. I will dust your professor off in knowledge. Your math teacher in college, I will cream him. He will look so stupid when I'm done with him. Y'all might want to start to come to realize, stop coming here playing. Y'all don't got nobody that could fuck with me. It's not even a little bit close. Y'all ain't even begun to form the thoughts of the things I say. Y'all don't know Maat is the personification of math. And we gonna sit down and have a math discussion and you don't even know that. You trying to tell me about something, how can you? I know how this was constructed. The point of it. You see how I explain to you? 10 times 10 is to say 10 times. You ever heard anybody in life tell you that? You think multiplication just was created today? They had multiplication in Greek times. You show me somebody explaining to you multiplication that simple. Ever in life. I'm saying that so you can measure my wisdom. That part. Y'all made math, multiplication. Everybody alive today, y'all made multiplication? No. That part. Y'all would never know 10 times 10 mean 10 times. 0 times 1 means 0 one time. Unless I told you. And so y'all need to be wondering, how do he know this? Because he's here in the same times as us. Who bestowed this nigga with the deep insight? In that y'all will grasp divinity. Otherwise, you tell me the man that explained to y'all or any time in history to anybody why 0 times 1 equals 0. And explain it to where you could say, well, ain't nothing I could say to that. 0 one time is 0. Or 1 times 0 or 1 0 times is 0. That part. The 0 is like your unconsciousness. Anything you put against it, cancel it out. Like I said, the numbers have to do with life and the happenings of it. And this is all a math thing. Manifestation, that is. It's a math thing. And so a lot of y'all like to go against me because you ain't taking the time out to think. I'll say it one more time. Have y'all ever considered, how do he know this shit? Because the shit he know, if Terrence Howard and me was sitting down having a debate, now of course I'm going to get all the girls because I'm cuter. But besides that, I had to put a little ego in there. I'm sorry. A lot of y'all be trying to, play big goose here. And y'all thought I had fucked up hairline? No, I have the hairline of your 12-year-old son. Nigga, 50. I'll say it again, nigga. I got the hairline of your 9-year-old son. That part. I got the health of your 9-year-old son, if that nigga healthy like he's supposed to be. Nigga, I got the chest of God. Do you... Let me stop rubbing it in. I gotta do this to the haters, man. They be doing too much. True wisdom is true wisdom. Your teacher ain't my age, and you get it? Cut it the fuck out. I'm tired of all this dumb shit y'all got going on, man. You either want to get this knowledge or you don't. If you do, pay your tithes. Like I said, they be trying to blackball me off and interfere with whatever I got going on, because I'm giving y'all the truth on matters. So, pay your tithes, and y'all can all be y'all glories as well. It's depending on what you know. Your son could be the best multiplication doer. He just need to know why 1 times 1 equal 1. So he could understand in depth, okay, I know what I'm doing. Like that. The way we learn multiplication, it become a memory thing. You have to remember 9 times 7 equals 63. But you don't know why it equals 63. You say 9 plus 7 is fucking what? 16? Is that right? 9 times 6 is 15. Yeah, 9 times 7 is 16. How in multiplication is 63? Because it's saying 9 7 times. That's what 9 times 7 means. A pile of 9 7 times. Count them all together. That's your number. That's your answer. Multiplication just being the question. Addition is how you get to the answer. It's the same with algebra. 2 squared, meaning the number 2 and then a little 2 above it. That's 2 squared. That's algebra. 2 squared is saying 2 times 2, basically. You see how multiplication is how you get the answer to the algebra? But if you don't know how to multiply, you can't. And addition is how you get the answer to the multiplication, but if you can't add, you can't. You gotta know the point of the math. Now, if you're the great mathematician, if you were sitting in front of me, the fuck I could had gotten Bill Gates, Einstein, whoever y'all want. They gonna look stupid. And a lot of y'all need to really focus in on that. Whoever you idolize, imagine if they was debating me right now on math. You telling me they wouldn't look completely fucking retarded to where y'all would have to troll and do a bunch of dumb, filthy things to try and make it seem like they right? You'd have to say he got ego to throw it off. You'd have to say he called him stupid to throw it off. But in regards to the wisdom, you ain't got nothing to say towards it. It's crisp, it's sharp, that's that. If me and Terrence Howard was having a debate, he would have lost in 4 seconds. Like that. Meaning y'all sit and listen, y'all say, man, Terrence Howard living theory was deep. The 0 times 1 and all of that. Now, measure how deep it was to you. And how fast it would have got creamed. 0 times 1 equals 0 because 0 times 1 is saying 0 1 times. The end of your theory. That part. That's how fast it would have been over. Y'all would have been crying, talking about, no, I don't get it. Yes, you do. Now, blood don't know the language of multiplication, meaning he don't know why 0 times 1 equals 0 instead of 1 like addition. He understands addition, not multiplication. He understands multiplication, not algebra. You get my point? All of these things being dependent on the other. It's like noun, pronoun, adjective. The one being like a person, place, or a thing. The other being like the description of the person, place, or thing. Like to say like he said leave me alone. He being a person, place, or thing, but do you get it? He being like a pronoun. Then you have adjectives and all the other goddamn, English stuff. It all go together, meaning it all have to do with expression of sound. Sound being air. Air comes together and you get liquid. From there you get thicker liquid of mud, clay, rock, stone, so on. Sound manifesting out or air manifesting out. Your soul being unseen airs or fixed vibration. Now I'm gonna go a little deeper, but can y'all play y'all tides, please? Otherwise I'm gonna depart so I don't have to get more disturbed than I am. King of Wands, salam, shalom. This channel is for grown-ups. People that really want to get on a path of truth. Truth being understanding. Like I said, some of y'all on y'all path of lie. And that the most absurd things make sense to you. A black woman is God makes sense to you, even though you in real life and you see black women ain't God in real life. So a lot of y'all there, meaning you completely dumbed yourself out. And it's because you a follower or an idolizer. And that y'all will take anything and try and make it a truth. And Terrence says 0 times 1 should equal 1. Y'all all been to school and y'all all know the answer according to school is 0 times 1 is 0. But y'all said no, Terrence Howard is right, and that was deep. Why? Whatever he said, you can't use it nowhere. You'd have the wrong answer in school, and just in the realities of understanding multiplication, you'd be wrong. 0 1 time don't equal no 1. And 1 0 times don't equal no 1. If you understand 1 times 0 means 1 0 time, that part. You are 1. You 0 times equal what? 0. You 1 time equal what? 1. I'm using you as the first number. Instead of the first number, you the first number. That part. You 8 times. That's 1 times 8. What that equal? That part. 1 or you 8 times is what 1 times 8 would mean. 1 times 8 or 1 8 times. And that's how you get 8. You don't get 8 because you wake up and say, you know what? I think y'all think they just made the curriculum based on nothing. Like 1 + 1 is 2 because we said so. That's not how it works. It's just like when Brother Polite said he have his own language. You don't understand the meta-netta is where you make language from. That's why in the meta-netta you don't see no vowels. It don't say N-U-T for nut. It just say N-T or N-W-T. That part. The medu-netta is not the first language or a language at all. It's how you create language. And all kings of old, even present, if you a city owner or a king, well, you want your slaves or your citizens to have your language that you choose for them. That way another city owner can't steal your slaves. This is why y'all speak a different language here from over there. These places we live in are own cities. They have kings or rulers, and so do you get it? Y'all have language. All these languages can be translated and things like that. If you understand their start being the Medunetta, which is a system to create language, just like gematria is a system that created the geometry and other maps that we have. Gematria is ancient Hebrew. Ancient Hebrew and ancient Egypt, I guess you could say it's the same. Because according to the Bible, the Hebrews was chilling in Egypt before Moses stole them. And I'm only saying Moses stole them because he didn't free them out of Egypt and say, go do whatever you want. He freed them out of Egypt and then he told them to do whatever he told them to do. And if they disobeyed, they got... I read from the Bible. It's a channel member video, but I broke down how the Muslims, or how Prophet Muhammad was a Hebrew and the Hebrews were Muslims, but this is a channel member video. You have to be like a second level channel member to see it, but I did it the other day, breaking it down in depth, and I read from the Bible. And so I was reading so that you guys can see in depth. Damn, I lost my point of thought. Peace and wisdom. What was I just explaining to y'all before I got lost on the video I did the other day explaining Islam? Had something to do with the ancient Hebrews. I was explaining something very deep. I was using that, I was going to use that as an example. But in any event, you can become a channel member, check out that video. And kind of get a perspective. While I was explaining language, you can kind of get a perspective of why I say Moses kidnapped the Hebrews from Egypt. Because he didn't free them once he got them. He made them do what he said. That's why I was saying that. Now, meaning that's why I went off topic. I was explaining the video I did the other day and why I said Moses kidnapped them. Instead of how y'all know it, which is he freed them and stole them for himself. But I don't feel like arguing. Now, language starts with the Medunetta, meaning just look at the Medunetta as a system. And you get my point? Each city or city owner is going to have a language that they use that derives from this Medunetta. And it's their way to control their citizens or slaves. Meaning y'all can't understand language that ain't y'all's. And that y'all don't want to hear nothing. You don't speak Arabic, so an Arabic person come up to you speaking Arabic, you like, I don't speak that, get away from me. Like that. It keeps y'all in order and separate from another people that belong to another person. And so this goes deep. Now, I need to take a restroom break. If you guys want to get back with the video's description, I'll come back and go deeper. Otherwise, I'm going to depart. Hopefully, y'all grasp Terrence Howard. And most of y'all are not really wise. You're not even on a path of wisdom, which is true. Okay, I'm back, but I'm gonna depart because I have something to do. Peace and wisdom get buck 360. And so if any of you guys gave back and I missed it, peace and wisdom, like I said, I'm about to depart. I have something to do. Wise was it said, so much of these systems remove us as one in unit. Yeah, if you black, we got all of these little groups y'all have, from Bloods to Crips, all the way to religious groups, all the way to activist groups. And all y'all do is bicker amongst each other. Meaning the Hebrew Israelites is bickering against the panhead Africans. You get my point? And the Christians is bickering with the Muslims. And black people fall into all these systematics that was set up to keep us separate. Y'all think y'all unified in y'all groups. Y'all unified in y'all groups to go against the next group. But that ain't unity. The Bloods and the Crips is the same thing. Black people and Spanish people. And killing each other because they're lost in the group. And so, y'all are still easily manipulated as people. Because y'all are desperate to look like y'all are down or apart. And the things y'all want to be a part of are the things that bring us down. They was put in place for that. Blood and Crips is blue and red for a reason. Just like the cops is blue and the fire department is red. And just like you had the blue coats and the red coats beefing in the past. In early America. It's an American systematic. Meaning it's something that's always done in any place you could think of. Meaning when the country is developed, the people are given a language. And they're given all these other systematics to fall into to keep themselves separate. Keep themselves from unifying with themselves and others. And so y'all fall into all these falsehoods, fake groups. You a pan-head African or pan-African. My bad, I'm just used to saying that. If you a if you a pan-African and I call y'all pan-head Africans, sometimes I'm not being funny when I say it. It's just a habit now. Like, I've said it too many times. You know, a pan-headed monkey. And that, sometimes I'll be serious. Like, I found myself talking to people in real life, calling them like, yo, you a pan-headed monkey. And you get it, I have to catch myself like, oh, that's not the... that's not the name. It's Pan-African. But they kind of get it. They know I don't mean nothing by it from my... You know, in real life, you could tell. Like, no, he ain't trying to diss me. He just... He said that shit so much, he don't even realize he just said that. You get it? Like that. I call him Panhead Monkey. Most of the times, I mean Pan-African. But, you know... Like I said it too many times, so it come out wrong. I ain't tripping about it. Y'all know I got them hands, so... You see nigga hit you with the, whoa, big baby, chill out. They probably got a little hands, you know, in a posture. Oh. Sleep. Go to bed. It's nice there in sleep world. Now, Virgil Lee said, like Harriet Tubman, she didn't really free the slaves. Harriet Tubman was a train conductor on the B&O railways. That's Baltimore and Ohio railways. In the times of Harriet Tubman, the kind of train system we got now that go through mountains and all of that from state to state, they ain't had those in them times. They had them old school wooden trains that ride above ground. And so when they started constructing the B&O railways, which is the beginnings of like Amtrak and all of that, and you know how Amtrak have like the Port Authority, you know, the terminal. You know how like Amtrak has the Amtrak terminals in every state that it's going to? In Harriet Tubman times, this was the beginnings of that. It was called Baltimore and Ohio Railways. This is during the time of the Civil War. This is when the North is beefing with the South. The North live how we do now, where slaves are free. They work their job serving the city. They get their monopoly money and they give it right back to the city by paying for somewhere to live in the city. But it make them feel like they free, so this is the new way. You got the slave owners in the South, they say, no, I like having my slaves on my plantation and that works better for me. I'm sending all this. Because, you know, the slaves are working like resources. Maybe they picking cotton to make clothes. Maybe they picking corn. And this is getting sent back to Europe and developed countries to their stores. And so a slave master making bread. And that he say, I don't want to give into this new way where y'all come over here, build up buildings and make businesses, and I be the owner of this new place y'all build, and all the citizens are slaves of it. I just steal their tax money. He don't get it like, oh yeah, that is better. I ain't gotta beat up slaves to do nothing. I ain't even gotta be here. It's a new thing. The men of the South don't get it. The rulers in the North, they get it. They got it running like that. And that people from the North are freed, whether they black or not. They got a social security card and a birth certificate. And they work wherever they want. And so Harriet Tubman from the North. And so she worked on the B&O railways as a conductor. And so you had the North paying people to steal the Southerners' slaves, to make them give in. This is how we got where we are now, where you go down to Georgia and niggas ain't on their plantation no more. They live like a nigga up in New York. Some of y'all live in Atlanta right now, you live in a high-rise building. But if you go back to 1920 Atlanta, that part, motherfuckers were still on plantations, meaning it was that recent. In 1956, you come to Atlanta from New York and you might die. You like, yo, what the hell? They're literally standing on the porch of the master's house as slaves in 1950. In 2003, I was deep. I don't know where I was. I was past Conyers. I'm talking about Atlanta, Georgia. I was past Conyers. I was in some old ass town of Georgia. I don't know where it was. And it was like 2003. I swear to God, I seen 4 slaves. It looked like they were stuck there. It never, you get it? They never came into terms with the times. Like the slave master abandoned the slave lady and left her the house and everything, but she never left that area. In that, when we're riding by, I'm like, this big fat lady, and you get it? You could tell they were slaves. Were you like, that's strange. The house still looked like a slave plantation. And they was kind of just sitting there looking confused. Like I said, we riding by and they just look confused. And that was like 2003-ish, 2004. Meaning, if you go deep enough in the South, don't be alarmed if you see a family that's still slaves, willingly, where they're like, no, master feeds us and gives us eats. And so I'm giving you that reference so you could grasp. When you had the Civil War, which is the northern states versus the southern states, this is before the South was even states, and before you had all the northern states that we had. Maybe you just had New York, Baltimore, you get it? A few of them, Delaware. They would get resources from the South. This is what the train system was going to help with. You got slaves in the South getting resources, gathering resources, and you get it, shipping it to the North now. Because the North is like Europe, a developed fucking country. You get it? You have slaves like Harriet Tubman, but she's not a slave, she's a citizen. Remember, in the North, they live like how we do. Now, I mean, a black person got a identification card and they work a regular job like how some of y'all are trained conductor now. And so do you get it? Harriet Tubman is working on the newly developed B&O railways. That's Baltimore and Ohio railways. You can look that up. When those railways was conducted, so you get it, it used to go from Baltimore through the Appalachian Mountains and all of that to Ohio, and you get it? And Georgia, Virginia, all of that. Kind of like the Amtrak do now. But this is the beginnings of that. And that they was calling that the Underground Railroad. because they don't have no name for it. The citizens of the time, they just see them building this thing, like, and they go underground, take you from city to city, so they calling it the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman worked on it because she's from the north. She's a conductor, not a train driver, just a train conductor. Meaning when the people getting on and off the train, she the one that's taking the tickets and all that and making sure everybody's seated in, the conductor. In that, when the train pulling up to the south to let off cargo, they were told, to kidnap the people of the south and bring them north. We'll give them a birth certificate and all of that and they can work. Tell them they're going to be free. This is how the north, you get it, won that war in perspective. They kept stealing the slaves from the south, bringing them into the north, making them free. In that, Harriet Tubman, they pull up to a state. You got the rest stop. You get it? The terminal, so to say. And that's what was being called like the old slave houses, or like the stash houses for the slaves. This is in the beginnings, in the time where they don't have those things. And so Harriet Tubman pull up to a new station. The slaves just got to be at the terminal. And she going to let them on the train and bring them back up north. And she's paid to do that. Meaning, aside from her being a train conductor, she is paid, kind of like a secret mission type of thing. She like an agent. And so you get it? She's working for the Civil War as well as doing her job as a train conductor. And so, there you go. It's like the migrants coming here. In that, you get it? They go down to North Carolina, Georgia, Harriet Tubman and them, you get it? They call for the slaves. Whoever coming, you better come the fuck on. This is why the plantation masters couldn't really do nothing. Her and other train conductors and train drivers are backed by the government in the north. You get it? You're not going to do nothing to them. And we told them to steal them slaves. And you get it what? And we armed them. And we ain't playing with y'all. We trying to get this thing going aboard. Otherwise, it'll be like how it is up in north, meaning New York. Shit, New Jersey all the way up to Canada will be the north. And when you get to like Pennsylvania and further down, that's down south. You get my point? Meaning Pennsylvania, Philly, that's down south. That's not technically up north. It's just up north if you're coming from Georgia or something. But Philly is down south. Once you pass New Jersey, everything start looking like down south. You pulling up the gas stations and shit. If you're from New York up north, you pulling up to the deli. You can barely find a gas station. If you can, they don't got nothing in it but oil. But take your ass to the deli, this the north. But when you go down south, they buy everything from the gas station. The gas station is damn near half of a supermarket. And so when you get to Pennsylvania, you down south. And the deeper you get, the deeper you getting down south. But if the north never won, you figure y'all will still be living on plantations in the south. And so after that war was over, meaning Harriet Tubman, she really was freeing slaves, but she was freeing slaves working under the North government. You get it? They was trying to win the Civil War, meaning they was trying to make things how you see it now. Over in the South wasn't cooperating. Slave masters is greedy. They said, nah, we good. Everything's moving good how we got it right now. You can get lost. And so they can't force them. All they could do is cause them problems to where they just give in and be like, all right. And so you get it? Stealing their slaves. The North is paying Indian tribes to steal their slaves. This is why the Indians got reservations. Whoever contributed, you get it? They were set straight in some way. This is why black people was the president and no other race was, because we did the most contributions. Meaning black people think we were slaves. Nah, that was just in the South. And slavery is just old school business. Like, it's just like a factory before any buildings is around. In that, the property is like the factory. The slave master's house is like, you know, the office. This is where you would see like his family members and they would be doing like the office work. Phone calls back to Europe or wherever they send in the product. And the slaves will be out in the yard picking cotton, and then you'll have slaves in the back turning that cotton over into fabric, and then you get it. You might have other slaves stitching it up in the shirts, other garments. And slave masters send that back to Europe where it's already a developed country and he's making millions. And he's going back and forth to Europe, he's the man. And here the North come talking about, no, free your slaves, we got a new system. I say, man, you better get lost with that. And so you get it, that's how the Civil War started. I'm just making it simple for y'all to grasp. And so you got the states in the South beefing with the states in the North over that. You got black people in the North free. They don't know nothing about being a slave. Meaning Harriet Tubman, she was free to work. The times and the verbatim just get confusing. Meaning your people in the North and in the South, they the same. Slaves. The way they got the system in the North, it just make the slave feel free. Meaning instead of this slave living on a plantation, sleeping in the back house, in the North, they got like projects and all kind of shit that they built for all the slaves, which is the citizens that work. They got all these places for them to live in. And they give them this fake money, like Monopoly money, Monopoly game shit. And they work, and instead of giving them resources and land, they give them this paper. And then they spend that paper to live wherever they want and eat whatever they want, but they give it right back to the government. In that, they're still slaves. They work just so they have somewhere to eat and somewhere to sleep, which is free of life. But it just seemed better when you add the Monopoly game to it. In the South, it's the same for them. They just live on the plantation's master's property and they sleep there. And that they don't have to worry about where they gonna sleep and what they gonna wear and what they gonna eat. They do all of those things. Meaning they make the clothes, they make the food, so they eat and they always dress. We have a perspective from movie where it's more harsh than it was. And it may have been harsh in some spots, but you get it? For the most part, it's just business. Ain't no buildings or nothing here. The indigenous people are already sleeping outside. You got people coming from developed lands. They like, man, I'm going to snatch a few of these niggas up. You get it? I'm going to put clothes on them. They never seen clothes. I'm going to feed them food that they never ate. Because they damn near eating the resources raw. They don't know how to cook it and all that. And that the slaves love, master. They like, blood showed us new shit. They don't understand, but you truly free. He's supposed to show you all that so you could be free and do you, not so he could rule you. And that they honor the slave master. And that if you tell them run away from him, they be like, nah, he give me food and he give me sleeps. Meaning somewhere to live and something to eat. And something to do throughout the day. And so you get it? But it was still the same. In perspective of the citizens of the slaves, it's truly the same. You got a little more freedom, but you truly don't, because you end up in jail just like you end up in the hot box. Remember that movie Django? Samuel L. Jackson put, what's that actor's name? I like her. I forgot her name, but he threw her in the hot box. And Jamie Foxx's girlfriend, and he was asking, Jamie Foxx was asking, Calvin where she was at. And Calvin asked Samuel L. Jackson, and he was like, yeah, she in the hot box in the back. That's like to say she in jail. That's my favorite part, because he was like, how long you had out there? That nigga said, all goddamn day. I said, blood gangster, you're a real slave master slave. They said, how long she been in the hot box? Because you know it's sunny out there. They put in the metal box, she burning up in there. So Calvin like, damn, how long you had her in there? Blood said, all goddamn day. He wasn't going to never let her out. He was just going to leave her in there. They took out, she was on fire and shit. And so, yeah, Kerry Washington, they took out, poured water on her because she was on fire. You get it? It was like that in the South. In the North, niggas is driving cars. Forget pulling up on horses like Jamie Foxx. They riding cars. They know nothing of that madness. They was born in the North. That part. During Bumpy Johnson time, Frank Lucas time, Frank Lucas and his people were still getting attacked by the Ku Klux Klan down in North Carolina. He came to New York, he seen Bumpy Johnson and niggas in Harlem walking around with suits on driving cars. And that wasn't even in the 1800s, that was in the 1900s. And so I mean like that, you get it? Now after the North won the war, so all the Southerners, all the plantation masters of the South, they had to free their slaves. This is when you get, you know, the Trail of Tears Act, and you also get, you know, when the millions of black people were sent from the South into the North. And in our beginnings, we were sleeping in front of the, you know, the stores and all of that, and you get it? This is where your racism come from. Meaning when the slaves are the people, the black people of the South, all black people got a story, man, we came from the South. Yeah, that was a big event. They sent all the black people and everybody from the South up north so they could develop up the South and make buildings and all of that. Y'all in the way. In that, you had a great migration. You got black people pulling up, they got nowhere to live, they got no paperwork. Like how they say these migrants is coming here, they migrants, they ain't got no paperwork. Meaning they ain't from no developed country, so they ain't got no ID or nothing. This how black people were during that time. Right after the Civil War, when they sent, you know, millions of black people up north. I forgot the exact name. The Trail of Tears Act was like the Indians getting sent to their reservations, but it was a specific name for the blacks. And so history repeats itself. You just have to have that proper wisdom. And so it's a deep thing. Now I have to depart. Hopefully y'all grasp. But Harriet Tubman and all these things that y'all know, y'all just know them wrong. Not from real life perspective. Y'all just know them from, y'all just gonna have to grasp. 90% of the people that teach act like they wise, truly not. They just you. Pretending. And you pretending like you on the path of wisdom. So that's how that even happened. Meaning the fake gonna get the fake. And so kind of grasp. Salam.